Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times. We're here today to finally talk about a movie that I've been waiting for such a long time, and that is Saint Maud.
It's coffee time.
So this movie was ready in 2019 and then 2020 happened and it didn't really see the light. I believe at the end of 2020 it was released in a couple of countries, but we've had to wait until the beginning of 2021 to finally have access to this new A24 film. And if you take a look at the official website from A24, they do put this movie in their 2021 list. So in order to watch it, I had to get the physical copy. The steelbook is stunning, and the film, we'll get to that, was definitely something I was not expecting in a good way. So before we jump into the spoiler-free movie review, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell before you leave. Saint Maud, it's a British psychological horror film written and directed by Rose Glass in her directorial debut. The story follows hospice nurse Maud, a recent convert to Roman Catholicism, who becomes obsessed with a former dancer in her care, believing she must save her soul. There is a big part of the film that is being told to us from Maud's perspective through a voiceover, and that allows the viewer to really get into her mind and into her thoughts and her story. So he starts to tell us that she believes there is something else that she has to do in this earth, that God has some sort of mission for her. He must have that. So when you get to meet Maud, you see that she's a girl that has recently found religion, and after having kind of a turbulent past, she has put all her energy and all her trust in that religion, and she thinks that is her mission in life. So the nurse that she is, she's being put to take care of somebody that's really ill, and that is Amanda. Amanda was a dancer that is now really sick. She has cancer. She is really sick, like nearly in her deathbed, and so Maud takes care of her and she gets obsessed to try to save her soul. Also, when we get to meet Maud at the very beginning of the film, we see that her room is super tidy, very OCD, everything is really organized, and she feels ready. However, later on in the film, when her past comes back knocking on her door, we can see again her apartment is a mess, everything is completely chaos and out of control for her. There are so many little like symbolisms and messages that we get to see just through things that are shown to us on screen, and I really appreciate it. I love movies that tell me things without saying it, just by showing it to me. This film really went close to the border in which unsettling and eerie touches kind of the comical side of things, but the director was so smart that it never really crossed that border. So he did a really good job as well to portray things that were a little bit dangerous. And dangerous I say because, you know, you are really risking the movie to go too much into the comical part of things, but she just mastered it wonderfully in keeping that atmosphere, that darkness, and that really disturbed situation that Maud is going through. I absolutely love the camera work in this film, from the framing to the way that the camera was placed, you know, to shoot. And there is this scene where she's coming back home to her small apartment and she goes down some stairs in the middle of the night, and the way the camera moves, that was just stunning, amazing. I was just hypnotized. It's just, honestly, this is such an amazing debut film. Maud is a character that is really pushed to her limits, which is something that I really love to see in films when our main characters are really being challenged. And the film does touch a little bit kind of melancholy loneliness. Maud is really, really lonely, and we're gonna get to see her also struggling sometimes to communicate with other human beings. And Maud is such an interesting character. Like, you don't know what she's gonna do next. You don't know what to expect from her as a character, and I absolutely love that. Sometimes you're gonna feel kind of sorry for her, other times you're gonna be scared, or you think, should I be scared right now? And that's the beautiful thing about this film, like really getting to know Maud really slowly throughout the whole film to really get to understand that ending. In this film, we get to see the topic of religion being explored, and for me it felt like they are depicting here religion as a double-edged sword. It's something that you can go towards when you need guidance, when you need something to hold on to, but it can also be really dangerous if we take devotion to obsession. Another thing that I really loved about this film is that it was challenging me as a viewer to kind of understand the things that were being told to me through images. It's one of those movies that is not telling you what to think, it's showing you something and letting you come to your own conclusions. And I just love when a movie does that the good way. This film is very slow paced, and it's very atmospheric, and it really takes its sweet time to let the viewer get to know Maud as a character. And I think if you hold on to the end, it's going to be so satisfying for you. The last 10 to 15 minutes of the film were just stunning. They were flawless, and I absolutely love them. Most of the people that I have seen complaining about this film online claim that the film was not scary, and nearly all of them said that they didn't get any like jump scare moments or something like that. And you know, this movie is just not for you. Like, let me break it down to you. Like, if you're looking for a jump scare movie, this is not it. This is a different type of horror. This is psychological horror, and the way this movie was done, it's scary. And when you get towards the end, there is a couple of moments that are gonna make you jump a little bit, to be honest, but it is just the horrors of the mental health, because this is another movie that does address mental health. This movie is purely character exploration and mental health, so there is not really too much plot in this film. So it depends if for you that is enough, or if you really need a plot in order to enjoy a film. Now, this movie, I do believe it's gonna be one of those that either you love or you hate. I don't think there is much middle ground here. This is probably one of my favorite debut films since I watched Hereditary, and I was just like impressed at how good this movie was. The direction, the script, everything. It was just like 10 out of 10 movie, you know what I mean? And this being the first film of the director gives me a lot of hope for the future of horror, and definitely this is a director that I would like to see more things from. And this is for me a comeback from A24 films. I still have not watched Minari, but I do feel like this movie is what for me represents A24, and I absolutely loved it. In case you have not noticed, guys, I loved it. In the end, I decided to give this movie a 4 out of 5 stars. However, I have decided since then that I'm gonna bump it up to 4.5 out of 5, because I keep thinking about the film. It's one of those movies that stays with you when you finish watching it, and when a movie does that to me, it tells me that it really touched the right buttons for me. And also another thing that this movie did really well is the length of the film. They didn't, you know, make a movie that was too long. They didn't drag the story. It is slow paced, but it had the perfect length, at least for me. I didn't feel bored. I didn't feel like they were stretching anything. It just felt right. And I absolutely love that when a movie just gets also the time right. I really don't like when movies try to stretch a plot or try to drag a little bit just to put more content that it's not 100% necessary to tell that story. Anyway, you guys, I really enjoyed this film. Let me know down below if you have watched it, if you loved it or hated it. Let's talk about it in the comments down below. And thanks so much for you guys for watching. Please give the video a big thumbs up for supporting the channel. And also, if you want to follow me into the social media, the links as always in the description box down below for you guys. And I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!